I'm gonna make you mad. I've been reading this book.
No,
And
I appreciate it.
so Marcus Borg is saying something that I find very interesting.
Yeah.
So he's saying that if you read the Gospel of John and the Gospel of Thomas, and I found some amazing stuff in the Gospel of Thomas in the midst of all the crazy stuff.
Yeah.
That you get a picture of Jesus that is different from the Synoptic Gospels, and the picture of Jesus you get
Right.
is not that of a doomsday preacher or apocalyptic prophet, but that of a
Right.
revealer of secrets. And I've been working on that idea for our show in relation to the journey that Jesus takes to either self-realization or um, revealing things about the kingdom to his followers. So if he's describing the knowledge of God in ways that is deep and strong and powerful, um, which is not eschatological or apocalyptic, but is more like these are some pearls from the Torah about God,
Yeah.
or these are some things that people haven't thought of, or something like that. Do you think that there's a balance of that in all of New Testament scripture? Because again, if you make it all apocalyptic, then the first thing that people are going to say, like we've talked before, is like, what happened? But was there
Right.
like also a foundation of strong daily living and daily commitment to God? Because that's what I'm trying to express through the show, is that if
Yeah.
Judaism
Yeah.
as it is not incorporated or integrated into the overall narrative, then you get like a fringe perspective that is so fringe
Yeah.
that only people that live up in the mountains or who are in the far
Right.
extremes of
Sure.
either religion is the only one that it talks to. People who think of
Right.
God coming in judgment and you better get it right or else, versus this idea of holistic and well integrated life that is actually um, sanctifying to the world around you, uh,
Yeah.
versus hitting them over the head like get it right or else, which
Totally.
it
Yeah.
how it often comes across.
Yeah, that's I think those are really good points. So two thoughts came to mind while you were saying that. Number one, I actually read an interesting it was an article or might have been an article that somebody sent me arguing that the Gospel of Thomas may have actually been like an early Jewish version. Anyways, because of I'd never heard the perspective, but it was really fascinating, some of the things they pointed out. But that said, one, I think that absolutely, there's plenty of that in there. Those two aren't at odds. In fact, I'd add, like this is the way. This is so the only thing that I would tweak about that is not that there's no like daily living and how to be pleasing to God. I'd say that that's the overall emphasis. But and so like it's not emphasizing living up in the mountains in a bunker with a pile of guns by any means. It's actually highlighting what's pleasing to God, and it's simply. But when I say consistent eschatology or non-realized eschatology, it doesn't, in my mind, imply the absence of that. All it's saying is the bag of Skittles is for the end. Maybe God will give you a few Skittles right now, but God's reserving the bag of Skittles for a reward for behavior. It's not mostly about the threat of judgment. That's the initial. But like continuing in the faith has to do with the great reward at the end. And I like Paul when in Romans 13, when he's kind of shifting from, because he's gone from, really talking about the centrality and the election of Israel, and he shifts into some matters of dispute apparently that are happening in Rome. And the way he describes it in Romans 13 is he's trying to tell them, guys, just love one another. Owe nothing to anyone but to love one another from the heart. That's the debt you have to one another. And he's probably talking about Jews and Gentiles who are not getting along. He said, love one another from the heart. And then he uses this interesting phrase, or interesting statement. He says, the daytime is almost here, the night is almost gone. Therefore, let us clothe ourselves with an armor of light and behave as in the daytime. So it's like metaphor after metaphor kind of stacked on each other. But basically what he says is the daytime is almost here. It's common from the prophets and the Psalms. It's the redemption, right? The redemption is near. He says, therefore, let us clothe ourselves with a garment or an armor of light and behave. So clothing was a way that it was a way of saying, basically prepare yourself for, like, if you're going to go on a journey, you clothe yourself for the journey, and so prepare yourself, gird yourself to behave as it will be in the daytime.